Ever get that little spark of excitement, just, adding things to your online shopping cart?
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe you just enjoy scrolling through your favorite stores online, even if you don't actually buy anything.
Definitely. There's a real neurological reason for that feeling, and understanding it is what this deep dive is all about.
Right.
Today, we're getting into the dopamine effect in e-commerce psychology. The goal is, well, to figure out why shopping can feel so rewarding on a brain level, and how knowing this can be a pretty powerful tool, maybe even a secret weapon for anyone in
A
e-commerce.
secret weapon, I like that.
And just quickly, this deep dive is powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you run smart discount campaigns on your store. You can test it for free on your Shopify store. Just head over to the Shopify App Store now and give it a try.
Okay, so we'll be looking at the brain science behind why shopping feels good, right? And this surprising idea that looking forward to buying something might be even more powerful than the purchase itself.
Exactly. And crucially, how you can use practical strategies to actually build that anticipation into your online store.
We're going to cover quite a bit, the brain stuff, the psychology, website design, marketing tactics, even product and pricing strategies.
Yeah, and gamification, how to measure success, and importantly, the ethical side of things too.
Okay, let's dive in. So shopping, it's not just about economics. It's also a neurological experience. It really boils down to brain chemicals. And the main one we're talking about today is dopamine.
That's the one. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, basically a chemical messenger in your brain. And while people often link it just to pleasure in shopping, its biggest role seems to be driving the wanting and the anticipating of rewards, maybe even more than the actual enjoyment of having the thing later.
Interesting. So when we shop, or even just browse, our brain's reward system lights up and releases this dopamine.
Yep, think of it like a little internal thumbs up,
Yeah.
a nudge of satisfaction happening even before you hit buy.
And there's actual science backing this up.
Oh, absolutely. There are fMRI studies, those brain scans that show just viewing products we want is enough to activate a key area called the nucleus accumbens. That's a major hub in the brain for processing rewards.
So even digital window shopping gives your brain a little buzz.
Precisely. And the effect isn't trivial. Depending on the person and what they're looking at, research suggests browsing desirable stuff can boost dopamine activity somewhere between 30 and, well, up to 200%.
Wow, 30 to 200%. That's huge, just from browsing.
It's significant, yeah. But here's the really crucial insight, the thing to really grasp. The dopamine release seems to be stronger, more intense, during the anticipation of getting the reward, compared to when you actually get it.
Okay, hold on. So the biggest thrill in shopping might actually be before the checkout, while we're looking, comparing, imagining ourselves with the item.
That's what the neuroscience suggests, yeah. The pleasure often peaks during that browsing, considering, imagining phase.
Why would that be? Seems a bit counterintuitive.
Well, it likely ties back to our evolution. Think about it. Our ancestors who got a dopamine hit from seeking potential rewards, like searching for food or shelter, were probably more motivated and more likely to survive. That drive to pursue possibilities is still wired into us.
And online shopping has just poured fuel on that fire, hasn't it? Endless scrolling, wish lists, virtual carts.
Exactly. It provides almost limitless opportunities to trigger that anticipatory dopamine release.
Okay, that helps explain a few things, like why window shopping can be fun even if you don't buy anything.
Right, or the huge popularity of unboxing videos you're vicariously living, that build-up, that reveal.
Or the frenzy around limited edition sneaker drops or something.
Right.
The excitement is all about the chase, the possibility of getting it.
Precisely. It's the anticipation.
So for businesses listening, understanding this dopamine effect isn't just interesting psychology, it's actually valuable.
Hugely valuable. Businesses that actively design their customer journeys to build this anticipation. They often see real conversion rate increases. We're talking potentially 15 to 40% boosts.
That's a massive difference.
It is. And it doesn't stop at the first purchase. If you create these positive dopamine loops, you can also see repeat purchase rates climb, sometimes by as much as 30%. Customers are basically motivated to come back for that feeling.
So in a crowded market, understanding this neurological side gives you a real edge. You're not just selling a product.
You're selling a rewarding experience. And often, the tactics to build anticipation, we'll get into these, don't require enormous budgets, but can offer a really strong ROI. The smartest companies get that they're crafting neurological experiences.
Okay, that's compelling. So we know dopamine's key. Let's get a bit deeper into the brain mechanics. What specific parts are involved in this shopping high?
Right, so there are a few key players working together. First up is the ventral tegmental area, or VTA. You can think of this as like the brain's reward signal generator. It pumps out dopamine when it detects something potentially rewarding or appealing in your environment.
Okay, the VTA makes the dopamine. Where does it go then?
It travels primarily to the nucleus accumbens. This is often called the brain's pleasure center, but maybe motivation center or anticipation hub is more accurate here. It receives that dopamine signal and generates that feeling of wanting, of anticipation of, ooh, I need that.
So VTA to nucleus accumbens. That's the main pathway.
That's the core desire circuit, yeah. It's called the mesolimbic pathway. That's what really gets activated when you're browsing desirable items.
Like a direct line for wanting stuff.
Pretty much. Now, other areas are involved too. The prefrontal cortex, your brain's CEO, is weighing things up. Is the anticipated pleasure worth the price or effort?
The rational part, trying to keep things in check.
Sort of, yeah. And the hippocampus is involved in recording the memory of the experience, which influences whether you'll seek it out again.
So that explains why just looking at cool stuff feels good, even if you don't buy. The VTA and the nucleus accumbens are getting a little workout.
Exactly. It's a low-level activation of that reward circuitry.
And you mentioned it's not just dopamine, right? There are other chemicals involved.
Right. It's more like a chemical cocktail. Dopamine drives the wanting and anticipation. Then, maybe after the purchase, serotonin contributes to a feeling of satisfaction or well-being, but it's often shorter-lived than the dopamine buzz.
Okay.
Then you have oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone. Positive shopping experiences, especially with a particular brand, can foster its release, creating emotional attachment.
Ah, so that's part of brand loyalty.
It can be, yeah. And then there's cortisol, the stress hormone. If the decision feels too risky or if the anticipation is too high and the reality doesn't match up, cortisol can rise, leading to buyer's remorse or anxiety.
So it's a balancing act.
Definitely. The interplay of these chemicals shapes the whole emotional journey of shopping.
What else have brain scans shown us?
Well, they confirm that brain activation starts before the purchase. Just seeing desirable items lights up those reward centers we talked about.
Right.
And they reinforce that the dopamine spike is often bigger during browsing and considering than at the exact moment of purchase.
That anticipation peak again.
Yep. It's also clear there are significant individual differences in how strongly people's brains react. And importantly, memory plays a big role. If you've had positive shopping experiences in the past, your brain anticipates that, again, amplifying the dopamine response next time.
Your brain learns what feels good and wants more of it.
Basically, yes.
Okay, fascinating brain science. How does this connect to the actual psychology of shopping? What's going on in our minds during this anticipation phase?
Well, a lot revolves around expectations. Our brain is constantly making predictions. How good will this item make me feel? It's called reward prediction. The higher the predicted value, the more dopamine gets released and the stronger the anticipation. It's like our internal hype builds based on that prediction.
And we're also doing those risk-reward sums in our heads, aren't we? Is the pleasure worth the cost?
Constantly. And interestingly, a bit of uncertainty can actually boost the pleasure of anticipation.
Uncertainty. How so?
Think about stores like, say, TJ Maxx, or outlet stores where you don't know exactly what you'll find, but there's the potential for a great bargain or a unique item. That moderate uncertainty, the possibility of a surprise reward, can make the hunt more exciting and increase dopamine.
The treasure hunt effect. Makes sense.
So your brain is constantly evaluating potential rewards based on past experiences, current desires, and crucially, imagined futures, how this product will improve your life or make you feel.
That's why good product descriptions or lifestyle photos are so important then. They help you imagine owning it.
Exactly. Helping the customer vividly imagine using and enjoying the product fuels that anticipation far more effectively than just listing specs. It taps into that predictive reward system.
And this creates that whole emotional journey you mentioned.
Yeah, the thrill of the hunt, that initial search triggers dopamine. Then desire often intensifies the more you look at something or think about it. All this anticipation builds positive feelings. Excitement, hope, maybe a little bit of enjoyable tension.
That explains why just browsing can be enjoyable in itself. It's scratching that itch. And maybe why sleeping on a big purchase sometimes makes you want it even more.
Could be. That delay might allow the anticipation, that mental simulation of ownership, to build even further.
Now, you mentioned individual differences in the brain response. Does that apply to the psychological experience too?
Absolutely. How intensely someone feels anticipation can vary based on genetics influencing dopamine sensitivity. Demographics matter too. Younger shoppers, for instance, often have a higher drive for novelty, which ties into anticipation.
And personality.
Definitely. Traits like impulsivity or sensation seeking can correlate with stronger anticipatory responses, while more cautious individuals might experience it differently. Even cultural background can shape what triggers anticipation and how it's expressed.
So it's not one size fits all. Businesses really need to understand their specific audience.
Precisely. Segmentation is key if you want to effectively design experiences that build anticipation for your customers.
Okay, this is great. We've got the brain, the psychology. Let's get super practical. How can businesses actually design their retail spaces, physical or digital, to trigger this dopamine response?
Let's start with physical stores. Think about the layout. Does it encourage exploration? Stores where you can't see everything at once that guide you along a path, like IKEA or sometimes Sephora, they build anticipation as you wonder what's next.
Keeps you moving, keeps you discovering.
Exactly. And sensory elements are huge. The right music, a pleasant scent, displays you can touch and interact with, these all amplify the experience and potentially the dopamine release.
How you display things matters too, I imagine.
Oh, yeah. Spotlighting key items, creating attractive vignettes that tell a story, even subtly suggesting scarcity or high demand, only a few left, can heighten desire and anticipation.
And staff can play a role.
Definitely. Knowledgeable staff who can tell the story behind a product, hint at popular items, or create a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out, can really build that anticipation. Think about Apple stores, how the products are displayed openly, inviting interaction, and sometimes they have those unannounced silent releases that create buzz.
Right. Okay, what about the online world? How do you replicate that sense of discovery and anticipation on a website or app?
Well, the product page is obviously critical. High-res images you can zoom in on, 360-degree views, videos showing the product in use, authentic lifestyle imagery, all help bridge that gap and let the customer imagine owning it.
Making it feel more real.
Yeah. Navigation also plays a big role. Instead of just functional categories, think about ways to encourage exploration, personalized recommendations, you might also like, curated collections, shop the look features, discovery tools, make it feel less like searching a database and more like browsing a curated space.
Turning search into a bit of a treasure hunt itself.
Exactly. Good search functionality shouldn't just find what you ask for. Maybe it surfaces surprising but relevant items too. Keep that discovery element alive.
Any other subtle design tricks online?
Well, it sounds minor, but even things like strategic loading affects a brief, nicely designed animation, while content loads can create a tiny moment of suspense, a micro-anticipation for what's about to appear.
Never thought of loading screens that way.
It's subtle, and things like Amazon's frequently bought together or customers also viewed aren't just upselling. They continue that discovery process, triggering little hits of, oh, what's this?
And making it consistent across channels is important too, right? Online to offline.
Crucial. The feeling, the anticipation triggers, should be consistent, whether someone's on your app, your website, or in your physical store. Mobile needs special attention, visual impact, speed, easy navigation for thumbs. And think about bridging the gap. Maybe they browse online, build anticipation, then use click and collect for the final reward. Maintaining that flow is key. Consistent visuals, maybe even consistent scent branding. If you have physical stores, it all adds up.
Makes sense.
Okay,
so the environment is set up. How do you proactively build anticipation before someone even gets to your store or site? This is where marketing comes in, yeah?
Absolutely. Marketing is prime territory for building pre-shopping anticipation. Think about product launches. Teaser campaigns are classic for a reason.
Right, where they only show you a little bit at a time.
Exactly. Gradually revealing details, maybe a silhouette, then a feature, then the full product. This creates multiple peaks of anticipation. It keeps people hooked. Apple is masterful at this with their event invitations and pre-launch hype.
And waitlists. I see those a lot.
Waitlists tap into exclusivity and the psychology of wanting what might be scarce. Just being on the list builds anticipation. Offering early access to subscribers or loyal customers does something similar. It creates tiered anticipation. Nike's sneaker drops are a perfect example of using scarcity and timed releases to maximize anticipation.
Okay, what about more direct comms like email or push notifications?
Huge potential there. Crafting email subject lines that pique curiosity, you won't believe what's coming, or hint at exclusivity can work wonders.
Gets you to open it at least.
Right. Sequential email campaigns can build a narrative over several days leading up to a launch or sale. Push notifications need careful timing, alerting people just before a sale starts or when a coveted item is back in stock can create a powerful jolt of anticipation. And the language you use matters. Coming soon, be the first, reveal tomorrow, limited spots. These phrases directly trigger anticipation.
I know subscription boxes often do this well, like Birchbox giving sneak peeks of what might be in your next box.
Great example. That builds anticipation for the delivery itself.
And social media must be huge for this.
Oh, absolutely. It's built for sharing excitement. Countdown graphics, teaser videos, polls, asking people what they're hoping for, all easily shareable.
And you can get customers involved, too.
Yeah, user-generated anticipation is powerful. Encouraging customers to share their excitement or what they hope to buy creates social proof and amplifies the buzz. Different platforms have unique tools: Instagram's countdown sticker, TikTok reveals, Twitter teasers. And working with influencers to build anticipation within their communities can dramatically expand your reach. Glossier was famous for seeding products to fans pre-launch to generate that organic buzz.
So marketing primes the pump. But what about the actual products and how they're priced? Can those elements enhance anticipation too?
Definitely. The product itself can be designed for anticipation. The whole unboxing experience is a perfect example.
Right, like Apple's packaging. It feels like an event.
Precisely. Packaging with multiple layers or a satisfying reveal extends that anticipation right to the moment of truth. Some products have progressive discovery built in. Think video games unlocking new levels or features as you play. You anticipate what's coming next.
Even physical products can do this.
Sure. Think sealed compartments, pull tabs revealing hidden features, things that add an element of discovery during first use. Even digital products can be designed to reveal new capabilities or content over time, keeping users engaged and anticipating what's next. And sometimes, the packaging is the anticipation trigger, like Tiffany's Blue Box. You know what it signifies before you even open it.
That's a powerful association. What about pricing and promotions?
Lots you can do here. Limited time offers are classic. The countdown clock creates urgency and anticipation of the deal ending.
Standard stuff, but effective.
It works. Loyalty programs create ongoing anticipation, accumulating points, reaching the next tier, unlocking exclusive rewards. You're always anticipating the next benefit. Strategic bundling can build anticipation, especially mystery boxes or curated bundles where the exact contents are a surprise, but the perceived value is high. Flash sales combine limited time with limited inventory, creating a double dose of anticipation and FOMO. Zulily built a whole business model around this daily deal anticipation.
And you said earlier you can even extend anticipation after the purchase.
Absolutely. Don't let the engagement drop once they've paid. Delivery tracking is huge for this. Watching your package move closer builds excitement. Domino's Pizza Tracker is a genius example in the food space.
Yeah, I definitely watch those trackers.
Post-purchase communications, your order's being prepared, it's shipped. Keep the customer connected and anticipating arrival. Even asking for a review can be framed positively, like, we can't wait to hear what you think. And recommending the next purchase based on the current one starts the cycle all over again. Stitch Fix does a great job with communications that build anticipation for your next curated box.
Okay, this is fascinating. Let's shift gears slightly to gamification. How do you actually turn shopping into more of a game to trigger that dopamine?
Gamification is super relevant here. It's all about applying game mechanics points, badges, leaderboards to non-game activities like shopping to make them more engaging and, yes, trigger that reward anticipation.
So how do you build addictive reward systems in a good way?
Well, progress tracking is key. Visual cues like progress bars showing how close you are to a reward like Starbucks stars make the goal feel achievable and build anticipation for reaching it. Point accumulation systems give frequent small rewards, keeping you engaged. Unlocking achievements or badges, especially unexpected ones, provides surprise dopamine hits. The trick is balancing the effort required with the value of the reward. Make it too hard, people give up. Too easy, it's not satisfying. Sephora's Beauty Insider program is a classic example with its tiers and points.
So it's about making progress feel rewarding in itself.
Exactly. And you can make the shopping experience itself more game-like.
How so?
Think gamified checkouts, maybe a spin to win, a discount, or a surprise gift added to your cart. It adds a fun element of chance and anticipation right at the end.
Like a little bonus round.
Yeah. Or designing the browsing experience like a treasure hunt. We mentioned stores like TJ Maxx earlier. Online, this could be hidden deals or limited time product drops you have to find. Some brands run interactive shopping games or challenges, like Alibaba's Big Shopping Festival games. And integrating contests, instant win, virtual scratch cards provides those quick bursts of maybe I'll win anticipation.
And you mentioned a social angle earlier.
Yeah.
Does competition play a role?
Oh, big time. Social competition can amplify anticipation significantly. Leaderboards showing top shoppers or point earners tap into our competitive drive.
Right.
Group goals or team challenges create shared anticipation. Can we unlock this reward together? Social shopping events like exclusive sales parties for members build collective excitement. And community challenges where everyone works towards a shared reward foster both individual anticipation and group bonding. Peloton's leaderboards and community challenges are a great non-retail example of this power.
Okay, so many potential strategies here. But how do you actually know if they're working? Measuring the impact of anticipation seems tricky.
It is tricky, but not impossible. You need to look beyond just final sales. Track engagement metrics for your anticipatory content. Are people opening those teaser emails, watching those reveal videos all the way through? How long are they spending on pages designed for discovery?
So leading indicators.
Exactly. And while it's more advanced, some companies use neurological measurements in testing facial expression analysis during unboxing, eye tracking to see what grabs attention, even EEG to measure brain activity, that's less common for everyday optimization.
Wow.
But for most businesses, the key is tying anticipation efforts to conversion impact through rigorous A/B testing. Isolate one anticipation element, say, a countdown timer versus no timer, and see if it moves the needle.
Makes sense. Test and learn.
And look at the longer-term effects, too, like customer lifetime value. Do cohorts exposed to anticipation campaigns stick around longer or spend more over time?
What kind of testing approaches work best?
A/B testing is fundamental, specifically designing tests to isolate the anticipation variable. User research is valuable too. Watch people interact with your site or app in moderated sessions. Maybe even use facial coding during an unboxing simulation. Behavioral tracking tools like heat maps and session recordings show how people engage with anticipation features. And don't forget qualitative feedback. Ask customers in post-purchase surveys about their excitement level before buying. Birchbox, for example, likely tested different sneak peek approaches to see what generated the most buzz.
And this needs to be ongoing, right?
Absolutely. It's about building continuous improvement systems. Regularly review the data, iterate on your strategies, and test again. This needs cross-functional collaboration, marketing, design, data teams working together. Keep an eye on competitors, see what they're trying, and always assess the ROI. Is the effort you're putting into building anticipation actually paying off? ASOS, for instance, constantly tests things like product reveal sequences on their site.
Okay, this is all incredibly powerful, but it also raises some, well, ethical questions, doesn't it? We're talking about intentionally triggering brain chemicals.
That's a crucial point, and it's really important to address. There's a responsibility that comes with using these techniques.
What are the potential downsides we need to be aware of?
Well, there's the potential for addiction. Shopping addiction is a real thing, affecting a small but significant percentage of the population. Some research suggests around 6%. Overstimulating the dopamine system can contribute to compulsive behaviors.
And financial well-being.
Exactly. These techniques can encourage overspending or impulse buying that people later regret, impacting their financial health. There's also the risk of post-purchase negativity or disappointment if the anticipation is hyped up too much and the actual product or experience doesn't live up to it.
The letdown effect.
Right. And fundamentally, there's a fine line between enhancing an experience and emotional manipulation. Crossing that line erodes trust and is ultimately bad for business and customers.
So how do businesses use these powerful tools responsibly? How do you find that balance?
It's about creating sustainable anticipative experiences that feel genuinely rewarding over time, not just manipulative short-term tricks. Transparency is key, setting realistic expectations about products and offers. Supporting financial well-being with clear return policies, responsible payment options, maybe even spending trackers. And ultimately, building trust by ensuring the product or service actually delivers on the excitement you've built. Patagonia's famous "Don't Buy This Jacket" campaign, urging mindful consumption, is an extreme but interesting example of prioritizing long-term values over short-term dopamine hits.
That's a bold move. What about regulations? Is this something authorities are looking at?
The landscape is evolving. There's growing discussion around persuasive design, dark patterns, and the ethics of leveraging cognitive biases. Regulations might become stricter in the future. There's also an opportunity for industry self-regulation, for businesses to adopt ethical codes of conduct around these techniques. And cultural differences matter what's considered acceptable. Anticipation building in one market might not be in another. The key is to build strategies that are ethically sound and future-proof.
Definitely something businesses need to keep front of mind. So, looking ahead, what does the future hold for shopping and dopamine? What are the emerging trends?
Technology will undoubtedly play an even bigger role. AI personalization, for example, will get much better at predicting exactly which products, presented in which way, are most likely to trigger a dopamine response in a specific individual.
Hyper-personalized anticipation.
Pretty much. VR and AR offer huge potential for immersive anticipation. Imagine virtually trying on clothes that look incredibly realistic, or placing furniture in your actual room before buying. That builds desire in a very tangible way. IKEA's AR app is an early example.
What about voice or IoT?
Voice commerce will need its own ways to build anticipation, likely through sound design, tone of voice, and clever scripting. And the Internet of Things could connect products to create anticipation. Maybe your smart fridge notifies you about a sale on your favorite yogurt, or your running shoes suggest it's time for an upgrade based on wear.
And the neuroscience itself is evolving.
Constantly. New research is always refining our understanding of exactly how anticipation works in the brain. Measurement tech might become more accessible, maybe even consumer-grade EEG or other sensors down the line, though privacy concerns are huge there. This could lead to even deeper personalization, perhaps based on inferred neural profiles and better predictive models of what works. We know big players like Walmart and Amazon invest heavily in consumer neuroscience research.
And finally, what about us, the consumers? Are our attitudes changing?
I think so. There's definitely growing awareness, partly fueled by discussions like this one about persuasive techniques online. People are becoming more savvy.
Especially younger generations.
Yeah, Gen Z, for example, often shows more skepticism towards traditional marketing hype. They value authenticity. Expectations are also evolving around the balance between the convenience of digital and the experience of physical retail. And global cultural variations will always be important. Anticipation cues need to resonate locally. The overall trend is likely towards needing more transparent, genuinely value-adding strategies rather than just relying on simple dopamine triggers.
Fascinating stuff. So, to kind of wrap this all up, the big takeaway seems to be that dopamine and anticipation are incredibly powerful forces in shaping the shopping experience.
Absolutely. Understanding and designing for that neurological reward system, that wanting circuitry, is key to creating engaging experiences, whether online or offline.
But it needs to be done thoughtfully and ethically.
Crucially, the goal isn't manipulation, it's enhancement. Successful businesses, in the long run, are those that create genuinely rewarding experiences that customers value and want to repeat. It's about finding that win-win. And just a reminder, this deep dive was powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps merchants create these anticipation-rich shopping experiences. Think teaser campaigns, gamified rewards, strategic product reveals, all designed to engage your customers' natural reward systems and ultimately boost conversions. You can test it for free on the Shopify App Store.
Excellent. So if you're listening and you're involved in e-commerce, definitely think about how you can apply these principles. How can you ethically and effectively build that enjoyable anticipation to create better experiences and stronger relationships with your customers? Food for thought.